Good evening, everyone. Just want to make sure everything's going live here and working. If you can let me know in the chat if you can see me, hear me, that would be great. I'm having some issues with my camera here. Just want to check in. So tonight I wanted to discuss a question that I posted inside the Landscape Business Owners Facebook group. And the question was, what's the most challenging part of estimating a landscaping job? So I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to hop in here and we'll dive into that question. Make sure it's working here. Double check here. If you can let me know in the comments that it's working, I would appreciate it. Let's see. Are we live? All right, looks like we are live. So if you guys don't mind hopping in here, let me know what has been the most challenging part of your putting together a landscaping estimate. I'm going to go over some of the things that people have popped in there and kind of answer those things. But let me know in the chat if there's anything that you wanted me to discuss in general. Love to kind of help you guys go through this and get those questions answered here. Camera right. All right, so let's dive into this. And just for those who aren't familiar with me, I'm Scott with the $1 Million Landscaper. I started landscaping with my dad back in 1988. That's when he started the business. I kind of progressed my way up through. And, you know, we went through all the hard times and all the tough times of having a landscape business. And it wasn't really until we started diving into understanding our numbers and understanding how to put together profitable estimates. And this was what was really a game changer for us, was when we started to actually dive in and understand our numbers. So that is what I always talk about. That's the number one thing I always recommend people when they want to scale and grow. I've been answering a lot of questions on Facebook today, people asking about how to scale and grow in other Facebook groups and stuff. And that's the number one thing I would suggest. But let me know if you guys have any questions, anything that you wanted to discuss in particular. But I wanted to go over, like I said, the biggest question that I saw or that I posted today was, what's the most challenging part of estimating a landscaping job? And there's quite a few different comments here. So I'm going to kind of go through these one by one and kind of answer some of the things that I see here. So one of the comments was, for me, it's just sitting down and actually writing it up. Yeah, sometimes it's definitely hard to find the time to do it. And that is actually a struggle. The biggest thing I would say for that is to have some kind of system, some kind of process that you follow all the time. And this process starts from the time hell, it even starts the time you're talking to the person on the phone, you're collecting all the right information. So you have some kind of list that you're going through and asking those right questions. And then when you get onto the job site or the potential job site, you're actually looking at it and you have a checklist you go off to make sure that that you're not missing something, you're not forgetting something. You know, like is there a well somewhere? Is there a septic tank somewhere? You know, for putting a patio on, I want to put a patio on a septic tank. So make sure you're having all the right questions. That's the first thing. And then once you have that, you want to have some kind of estimating system that you can follow through. And the thing for us was having something that I kind of go from the top to bottom and kind of check off. If I need this, I don't need this, you know, and just kind of go down the line. And it made it so much quicker. And having these things that you can kind of pull up and do things, because we kind of do the same things over and over, you know, when we're putting together these estimates. So if you have something you can follow, a system you can follow, it makes it so much easier. Not saying we always had that much time, but that is something that I have found made it a lot easier for me. See, Adam hopped in here. Appreciate you being here, Adam. He said, important, will you be at equipment? I will not be at equipment. We had some family stuff that we're doing. We're actually doing, like I said, some stuff with our family that I wasn't, I'm not happy about it. We'll just leave it at that. I want to be equipped this year, but it's not going to happen. So hopefully you guys that are going have a great time. It's a great place. Definitely take advantage of the networking and chatting with everybody. It's always a great time. I am going to miss being down there this year, though. So yeah, I guess kind of going over the question where I said the next thing was bidding out work I may not have done in the past or just something complicated. Yeah, this is always a tough one. We're taking on or looking at some kind of project or something that you've never done before. Of course, it's a little scary. My word of advice is to reach out to get in these Facebook groups and ask these types of things in the Facebook group and ask, what has anybody done this? What are things to look for? That's what the Facebooks are all about. Don't go in the Facebook groups and post a picture of it and say, how much do I charge? No, ask, questions that you can actually get a result from. And that is the number one thing I'd say. But bidding out work that you haven't done in the past, it is kind of challenging. And it kind of poses the question, is that, that type of work something that you should be bidding on? Not saying you shouldn't, but it's just something that should be posed in your head. Is my team ready for this? Do I have the right equipment? Do I have, things in place to, if something goes wrong? These are the things we need to think about. So like he said in here, bidding out work I may have done in the past or just something complicated. So again, it's just some of those things that would pop in my head. Well, should I even bid this job? There was somebody in, I don't remember which Facebook group here recently posted a question or a picture of the front of a house, I believe it was. And they had a little kind of narrow strip that they wanted to do a water feature in. And they had a picture of like a waterfall and a little bitty, I shouldn't say waterfall, it was more like bubbling rock off the side, and they wanted a stream go to it. They said they'd never done water features for it. I popped in there and I was honest. I said, I don't believe it's something that they should do as a first water feature because it's hard. And trust me, water features have a lot of possibilities. Like a lot of things, but water features have a lot of possibilities of things going wrong. If the crews don't have the liner up properly, you can get leaks. There's a lot of potentials there. And if you've never done a water feature before, it could be hard. So again, that's one of the things I posted in there. I'm not trying to like say you can't do this, but it just poses a lot of questions that you need to be asking about that when you're bringing up work. So again, guys, tonight we are talking about the question I posted in the Facebook group. What's the most challenging part of estimating a landscaping job? We have quite a few comments on here, so I wanted to hop in here tonight live just to kind of talk about those things. And I'm kind of going through these one by one. If you guys have any questions or comments you want me to answer, post them down in the chat and I will get them answered. Make sure I'm not missing anybody coming into the Facebook group. Sometimes my software doesn't work. I think I need to get some other software here, but let me hop in here. Looks all right. So the next question or comment was time. Materials and processes are easy, but time can get away from you quickly, especially if you make a mistake and have to redo something. Absolutely. To me, this is the hardest part of estimating, is to calculate the amount of time. Now, the one thing I will preface, everything that we do is time for a crew to, do whatever it is. It's time to install the plants, time to install the patio, time to dig the patio, dig the base, install the base. Everything is time. So that is, to me, is the hardest part. Now, one thing that we should be doing is tracking our time and keeping a log of how long things take to do. And this is what's going to help put together what's called production hours, keeping a way to be able to estimate using like a set amount of time to do certain tasks. Like I literally, back in the days before we really had the cell phones, I had a stopwatch and I would go out there and time my guys how long it took to install a 1 gallon plant. How long would it take to install this 2-inch tree? And I started logging all those things and started keeping track of this. That way, when I go do my estimate, I can look, I'm doing a 2-inch tree. This should take 1 hour to install. Or, a 3 gallon plant's 15 minutes or whatever it is. I can kind of go through. And then, if I have 3 of those plants at 15 minutes each, multiply that out, that's 45 minutes. It makes it very easy to do the math. But you have to start somewhere. And, this is something where if you have these production hours, you have kept track of that is going to be a game changer. Now, when I'm talking about this topic, I was in another Facebook group earlier, and this kind of got brought up. And I said that you need to be reviewing your past estimates. You need to be doing your job costing. This is where that job costing comes in play. And this is a huge thing because you can look and say, did my crews get the job done in the amount of time that I estimated? If not, what went wrong? Did my crews not have the proper training? Did I just not, as the estimator, not estimate enough time? And if this happens over and over again and my crews aren't doing it the proper way, then it's me as the estimator. I need to adjust my time. And when you're not doing this, this is where you start shorting yourself. And, again, I know we want to give the customers the best price, but when you start estimating in terms of time and based on your history or set production hours, you're going to be fairly pricing your work. And this is where I posed the question to that person that said about using the production hours, that if you're not reviewing these things and not adjusting those in the future and not tracking those, you could be missing out. And again, he was, he posted how was it stated? I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember here. It was something along the lines of basically he needed to go in and review his past times, because he said that the crews were taking longer every single time. Well, if they're continuing to take longer every single time, then we need to adjust our way we're estimating. That's the only way you're going to get it better and price your work the way you need to. So the next question was labor. And at first I thought this person was asking about time again, but they're just struggling with getting labor. And of course, that is a tough thing right now. And this particular person that reached or said this is in, I want to say Puerto Rico. So even in Puerto Rico, they're having a tough time getting employees. So it is a problem all around, not just here in the United States. But that is definitely something that's a struggle. And to me, we got talking in his chat something about culture and how culture plays a big role in it. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but that was one of the things that was posted. Somebody else said, knowing your customer and their budget. This is something that's very important to basically kind of understand your customers and understand what their budget is. And this is always a tough challenge. It's always hard to get a customer's budget out of them. But if you're not asking, you're not going to get the budget. And that's something I always see people, they're either afraid to ask or they've had a bad experience that, or they think that the customer thinks that they're going to, they say the budget's $5,000, they're going to spend all the budget. Well, we have to have some kind of starting point. And I guarantee every customer you talk to has some kind of idea, or at least an idea where they want to be at in price. They don't just call you up and say it's going to be $500 and it's $2,000. They should have some kind of idea on where they want to spend their money, how much money they're going to spend, I should say. But it's important for us to reach out and talk to these customers and get them an idea of what things cost. And what I mean by this is when you're talking to them on the phone and, before you even pose the question, find out what they want to do, get all the information in here and based on your history, you can say, well, hey, Mrs. Jones, based on what you told me here, it sounds like for this patio and water feature, from our history, we're probably talking $30,000 price range, $40,000 price range without me coming out there. Does that sound about what we're looking at? That is a good way to kind of get it. And they can be like, oh no, that's too much money. I didn't think it was going to cost that much. Well, let's come out and let's take a look and see, I'm just kind of guessing here, but let's take a look, or we can see if we can downsize it, or maybe we can add on things and build it in sections. A lot of different things we could do here. So we're not just ending the conversation, but there's a lot of techniques that you can use to try to get that budget out. I heard another person say when they're asking for the budget, to ask, like, hey, we're going to send out a designer. They specialize in projects that are $50,000. Does that sound about right? And they're like, oh no, that's way too much. Oh, okay. We have, other designers that are specialized in 10,000 or 20,000, whatever it is, and kind of give them ideas like that. That's something else that I want to give credit to. I think it was Tony Bass that said that a long time ago, one of the trainings. So I want to give him credit on that because it was a smart move. So again, getting a budget out of the customer is like one of the best things you guys can do. Again, let me know, guys, if you have any questions or anything else that is bugging you when it comes to estimating. That's what this whole thing is about. Love to chat with you guys and see what you guys have questions about. Let me know down below in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll continue on with some of these questions here. Just make sure there's no other questions that I missed. Let's see. All right, so let's continue on. Bidding a newish project that isn't with our team's field of expertise. Yeah, it kind of goes along the lines of one of the topics I talked about earlier. It's always a struggle trying to figure out new things if you've never done it before. I remember the first time I had to do an irrigation estimate. I learned from our other estimator that worked with us. I gathered some knowledge from him and learned a lot of different things. But man, I'll tell you, I was nervous. The first water feature bid I did, I was very nervous on that. My biggest concern was the time. I had the materials down. I had the equipment and everything down, but it was just the time. That's something that's always kind of scary. But what I did is I used some other people that have done these types of projects and kind of reached out to them and say, hey, just kind of based on your experience, how long should it take us to do this? And I added a little bit more because our team is new. We have a lot to learn. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to teach and work with them. But again, it's just one of those things that's it's always hard to do. And I get it, but it's reaching out and using these Facebook groups and posting, hey, how much time would it take? Not how much should I charge? How much time should it take to do this? This is what we have. This is what we're going to be using for equipment. This is how many crew members we're going to have on there. That's the type of question we need to be posting in these Facebook groups, not how much should I charge? Let's see, the person posted scheduling the meeting and then finding the time to sit in front of the computer within the time frame that you will still understand your notes and can provide an estimate in a timely manner. Yeah, so exactly like the first question we posed, finding the time. Like I said, understanding the notes and that you wrote down. I get that sometimes. There's so many different things out there nowadays. Honestly, take your phone out, pull your phone out, and record that estimate as you're walking through, and use that as your notes taking app, because then you can recall things a lot better and you can visually see what you're looking at. There's so many different ways you could do this, but that is a great one. Take your phone out, take a picture of it, and you can draw on that. Company Cam is a great tool as well that allows you to do that kind of things too. Let's see, the next thing was materials. Pricing are constantly changing and availability is tricky since COVID. Time and scheduling, especially due to weather. For us, weather was extremely cold and wet until July, then it's instantly hot and humid. We have a short season here and it's tricky to book enough jobs, but we also have time to finish them all before the snow flies. We're normally 90% booked for the season by the middle of June. Well, materials, to me, yes, it can be tricky with things going up. What's going on, AJ? Appreciate you being in here. Long time no see. So materials, yeah, it can be a little tricky, but that's something that we need to stay on top of. We need to stay up to date with our pricing and reaching out to our vendors to make sure things haven't changed. I remember when COVID was going on, seed prices went through the roof. We had it at $100 some a bag, and it jumped up to, I don't even remember what it was. It jumped up really stupid high. And yeah, we lost a little bit, but again, if we go back and start doing our job costings, we should catch it fairly quick. And yes, there's always a chance, you bid it here and then it kind of goes up in 30 days. But this is where also on your estimates, you tell the customer that, hey, our estimate's only good for X amount of days. And I know people that were in our program were actually shorting those estimates times out. So they'd say, hey, our estimate's only good for 7 days or 14 days, something like that, because things were changing. And we're just letting our customers know that. And most of them were understanding of it. So yeah, materials can be difficult, but having a accurate pricing list from your supplier is a huge deal. This is why I'm a huge fan of a proponent of going to, if you have it in your area, some kind of hardscape supplier that's near you that can actually give you a price list rather than just going to, the Home Depot and Menards. Nothing's wrong with that, but having that price list they can give you of the plants, of the stone, of the hardscape material, whatever it is, that makes a huge difference. So, and staying on top of that. And, if you're doing a big project, call that vendor up and make sure your pricing is accurate. Hell, if it's a big project, they may even be able to give you a discount because they can have it shipped directly to you and not go to their yard, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you can do, but that to me, the materials is probably one of the easier things, but I get where you're coming from as far as things change, but having a price book or having something you go off will make a big difference. Calculating the man hours. It'll take you to a job. That's the next question somebody said. I figure how much time it'll take me and a helper do it. and it always takes a crew 2 to 3 times longer at least. Oh, sorry. This is that question I was talking about. Somebody said it takes them 2 to 3 times longer. This is where I was saying that if you go back and do your job costing, you can look and say, okay, I estimated this job at 40 hours. Our crew took 50 hours. What is going on? Did our crew not do it the right job or right way? Or did we have rain, or they ran into some hard soil, rock, whatever it is? Is it kind of on the crew, or is it on us as estimators? And then I'm looking at, okay, if it's not on the crew, then I messed up as estimator. I need to improve my time and add more time. So that's what I mentioned to this person was, if the crew takes 2 to 3 times longer, then we need to, either do training, or we need to up the time that we're estimating. Because again, we're not trying, yes, we want to be fair with our customers, but we want to be fair to ourselves. If you're, just kind of giving the price, the time that you think it should take versus what you actually know it'll take because our crew will take longer, then all you're doing is hurting yourself. You're hurting your family. You're hurting your business, because without the money, without the profits, you can't grow. So, when you hire that new person, it's going to take longer. You don't do training with your crew, it's going to take longer than it should. So these are the things that we need to kind of think of and post and talk about and really think about when we're doing our estimates. Somebody else said the unknown. Who buried what, where, in what century? Estimating a tear out is tough because of that. Absolutely, yeah. There's things that you can't see, you can't predict or know what's in that ground. We do have a clause that in our contracts we give out to our customers that state if there's something below the ground that we don't know is not there, we are not responsible for. If we're not made aware of it, we're not responsible for it. And I think the person this bid or this question said something along the lines of they ran into an old septic tank that they didn't know was there. And yeah, that's definitely an issue. And like I said to them, that it's not only is it going to cost the customer more, because especially if you have this in your closet, anything underground that you can't see, you can't know is there, it's going to be an increase in price, a change order. Then yeah, it's going to cost the customer more money, but it's also going to throw your schedule off because, now you might have to spend the time digging that out or doing whatever, or waiting for somebody to come dig it out if that's something that has to be done before you can go ahead, and then just screws up your schedule. So I get that. But definitely have some kind of clause in your contract that talks about these underground utilities, underground things that you do not know is there. I think ours says something along, without me looking up, it says something along the lines of, because we contact 811, company that comes out, does our locates, they come out, anything beyond that without the customer telling us could be a potential for additional charge. Something along those lines is what we have in our contracts, because we need to protect ourselves. We don't know, we don't have x-ray vision. We can't tell what's down in that ground. So that is something I think about that. Now, guys, tonight we are talking about a question I posted in the Facebook group, the Landscape Business Owners Facebook group. What's the most challenging part of estimating a landscaping job? Let me know, what are you guys struggling with when it comes to estimating your landscaping work, lawn care work? Put it in the comment section. I'd love to kind of help you guys out. The next thing that was posted, let's scroll through my list here. Person said, they said, personally, I don't bid or discount my pricing. My price is my price. And if we win the bid, I win without being out anything. If I lose, all is good. I don't have to lower my price to win a bid. If they want, sorry, jumped away there. Sorry, Facebook went weird there. I win without being out anything. If I lose, all is good. I do not lower my price in order to win a bid. If they want the lowest price, they can have it. It's not me. And I agree with this 100%. This is the mindset I went in. I did not give discounts. I give the customer the best price I can give. And to me, that said a lot. That made it much easier for me. I was much more confident, and that came out when I was talking to the customer. The other thing too, along these lines, is speaking of confidence, is when I knew my numbers, knowing all our costs are factored in, all my overhead, all my equipment, all my labor, everything is calculated in my bid when I go through our estimating system. And having that confidence came out when I'm talking to the customer and they say, oh, is that the best you can do? I'm sorry, this is the best I could do. We know our numbers in and out. We know how long it's going to take. It's going to take X amount of hours for us to do this project. And here's why. That, again, came out in confidence. And that honestly helped me sell more jobs. I could tell the customer, well, hey, your materials is X percentage of the sale, so they know, oh, okay, the equipment is X amount of sale, labor is X amount of sale. I didn't break down my bid and say, you're spending this much money on labor, you're spending this much money on this. I give them a final price and tell them, kind of break down as far as we're installing, this much mulch, and this many plants, this size plant, this particular plant. I broke it down that far. But I didn't go down into details as far as like how much my labor was, how much my equipment was, and how much my overhead is. I don't do that. That's not their concern. That's not their problem. That's mine. And I'm giving the best price I can. So I agree with that 100%. Do not discount your prices. And also, to me, if you're out there talking to the customer, you're trying to sell them, and they come, say, can you lower your price? Is that the best you could do? And you can come back right away and say, I can go down a little bit more. I can go down X amount of percent, or I can go down this dollar amount. To me, that shows you're not confident in your pricing. And then they're going to try to keep pushing more and more. And all you're doing is lowering your profits more than likely, and hopefully you're breaking even on it. And again, this is where, if you have an estimating system that's laid out and step by step and allows you to go through line by line, it makes it so much easier to sell a project, because again, you're coming across confident to that customer. So those are just some of the things that I wanted to talk tonight about. If you guys have any questions, anything that you're struggling with in regards to estimating, let me know. Put in the chat. That's what we're here for tonight. I do want to start doing more of these lives and kind of answering questions you guys have. Let me know. Is Sunday night a perfect night for you? Just grabbed a quick bite to eat, came in here, and I'm going back and hang out with my family here in a little bit. But I think these are awesome things that we can kind of talk about. We're all about numbers here at the $1 Million Landscaper, and you have to know your numbers, because for one, that's the only way you become profitable. That's the only way you're going to scale and grow your business, if you're pricing your work properly. If you're just kind of guessing, you're taking materials off, multiplying by 2, or using the going rate. Dude, I've seen so many people lately in the Facebook group here today posting, what's the going rate for this? What's the going rate for that? No, that's the wrong thing to say. There's no going rate. It should be based on what you need to charge, based on what it costs for you to run your business, for you to pay for your equipment, for you to insure your equipment, for you to pay for your people. All these things need to be factored in when you're looking at your pricing. And if you're not doing this, this is where we see many, many people struggle day in, day out to try to make it. And it's a shame. I hate to see people go out of business. And most landscapers don't go out of business because they don't have the work. Most landscapers go out of business because they're not pricing the work properly, and they just struggle. And we see it over and over with people come in our program. I just kind of want to share with you guys real quick. We have a brand new pricing calculator that just came out. And I'll share my screen just so you guys kind of can see it here real quick. It allows you to kind of go through and put together your pricing. It's brand new. Basically, you're going to have a couple things down here. You're going to have an item down here at the bottom that is your materials. So you can be able to put all of your materials in here. What you pay for, your mulch, what you pay for your stone, what you pay for everything. You can have all these in here. You list them out. So like posing that question somebody said about keeping track of what things cost. Well, you can put it in here. You have your equipment in here. So you put in your equipment, and we figure out what it costs per hour for the equipment. So we're charging our customers for that equipment. And then we have our labor. You put in how much you're paying for all your labor. You put in your overhead. And then you get, basically, once you have all this information in here, which you could probably have it set up within an hour, you come in here, you put your customer's information, what you're doing. You put in your, basically click the drop down. It pulls from that material list. You put in your quantity. It'll pull the price over. You scroll down, you get it to your equipment. Again, you just put your equipment in here, your labor, and then you come up here. If there's any additional costs, so like make sure we're including travel time, unloading time, loading time, time to gather the plant material. dump fees, delivery fees, and all those things. And then we start getting into some of the breakdown. And as you put your prices in here, this cost breakdown here that's white, this will be a pie chart. This pie chart is freaking awesome because it allows you to see how much of this pie is actually going to equipment, how much is going for labor. And this is where you can tell your customer, like, hey, we noticed, you're concerned about the price, I get it. But on this project here, for us to do it, your material takes up whatever 58% of the cost. I'm like, oh, really? Or our labor is it's a labor intensive job. It's going to take this much, or it's a heavy equipment job, whatever it is. You can outline this because this pie chart develops in here, makes it so much easier. If you do want to give a discount, you can put a discount if you have sales tax, and then it's going to tell you in this red area, bam, like really quick and easy what the final sales price is. See, AJ says, I've noticed for town bids, most guys are close, but some guys are cheap. Yeah, you're always going to have that. And unfortunately, that part kind of sucks. But there's always been lowballers in this industry. I can recall my dad saying this back in the 80s, 90s, saying, this guy came in this price. I can't believe it. And, going off on it. So, yeah, there's always going to be the lowballers. And this is where you have to understand our pricing. And hopefully you can express your value to that customer, whether it's town or not. I get the town bids. They usually go off the cheapest bid. So I get that. But to me, what I would pose the question to the town is that, they call you up and talk to you about it. Be like, well, make sure we're comparing the same project, make sure we're comparing the same type of materials and all this stuff. Because to me, the question is going to pose in my head, are they going to do everything they say they're going to do? So that's something I would say. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, there's always going to be those cheap guys coming in and out there. This is why, I'm a huge fan of doing landscaping rather than lawn care. Lawn care, I get it, but there's so much competition. There's so many people coming there dirt cheap. So that's why, I'm a huge fan of adding some kind of landscaping to your business. And I know you do that, AJ. But, well, guys, let me know if you guys have any other questions, anything you wanted to go over. I'll be talking about that the sales calculator here at some point. I'm going to kind of do a whole nother video on that, kind of showing you exactly how to do it step by step. And it is super simple, guys. You literally be able to do a bid in 10 minutes if you have all your stuff. AJ says, I hear most guys bid low to keep their guys busy. Okay, well, I understand that. But then if you're not making money, then what is the point? Now, I get sometimes in wintertime we want to do stuff just to kind of keep our crews busy. But every single job you need to be able to make a profit on. That's the whole point of our business, is to make a profit. I'm not saying you're going out ripping the customer off. Every single thing you do, you need to be bidding and making a profit. If you're not making a profit, why are you doing that? Yes, I get you may want to keep your crews busy, but why not bid on a job that you're going to make money? Now, you can adjust that profit down a little bit, but I'm not going to go bid a job and lose money. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to hurt my business. I'm not going to hurt my employees because I can't pay them. And this is that cycle. And people start doing that is where the cycle becomes that they just work to work and not get ahead. Everybody wants to scale, or they get maxed out at a certain point in their business. It's because they're not charging what they need to charge. So AJ, I know you've gone through our program, you've been in our program. So you understand our philosophy on this, that you have to understand, your numbers. You have to be able to price your work to what you need to make a living, and again, if you're not charging what you have to charge, you're just hurting yourself. And it's why put yourself through that? Why put your family through all that stress? We work our tails off. We work so damn hard. And if you're not making the money just to live a comfortable life, then why do this? That there's something wrong. You need to make a change. We've had people that have been in our program that are barely making payroll. They're worried about, how am I going to make payroll? Well, that shouldn't be a concern. If you're pricing your work out properly, you're doing, and there's a lot to this, guys. I'm not just saying pricing, but you're pricing work where you need to do. You're ensuring your crews are doing in the timely manner, what they're supposed to be doing. You're training your crews. You're doing collections right. Again, there's not just one thing to fix all this. Where you're doing all those things, it's so much easier. And again, if you're not diving in your numbers, reviewing those estimates, reviewing those jobs, I should say, after they're finished, and looking at your estimates, comparing the two. You're not doing that, you're ultimately hurting yourself. And again, this is where that cycle comes in, where you just work to work to work, and you're just never going to get ahead. One of the latest people that have come through our program here, our Profits Up Estimating program, they made a comment, without me pulling it up, they made a comment that they were actually taking on less work, but making more profits because they are able to, they know their numbers, they're pricing the work they need to do, and their crews are happier and they're happier. They're actually, the owners themselves are actually spending more time at home and doing the things that they wanted to do. This is why we get in our business, because we want the freedom. But then you get tied to the job or tied to this business because you keep working and working because you're not pricing your work properly. So that's like, again, guys, I can talk to this till I can't say anymore, because it's something I truly believe in, because this is really a game changer for us. And I know it could be a game changer for you. So you have to understand your numbers. And estimating's tough, and I get it. That's why I kind of wanted to hop in here tonight, talk about some of those questions. If you guys have any other questions, anything that you guys wanted to go over, let me know. Put it in the comment section. We're here to help you guys. I was going to stick around for about another 10 minutes or so. The one thing I will say, if you're in a Landscape Business Owners Facebook group, we do not allow the question, what should I charge? And this, we can get into a whole thing on this, but the reason why we don't allow that question is because most people do not post the right question. They will just come in there and say, post a picture and say, what should I charge? So they leave out so many details. I don't know, what you're paying your people on average. I don't know what you have for equipment. I don't know what you're paying for material. I don't know. A lot of times I don't even know what the size of the thing you're doing. Some people, like, we're posting a picture of a shrub, and how much should I charge for this? Well, I don't know how big this shrub bed is. Like, you got to give me more information. So we just stopped allowing that in there. And it's not that I don't want to answer the questions, and it's not that I don't want to help you. I want to help you. But you have to give us more information. You have to give us more details and be able to help you figure out what this is. Are you digging it all up by hand, or use a machine? I don't know. So this is why we don't allow that question, how much should I charge, in our Facebook group. And I know people post it from the time to time. We get new people coming in there. But this is something that we're really diving into this year. We are diving into helping people understand how to price their work properly, by going through doing these trainings like this. And if there's something that you guys want to hear, want to learn more about, let me know in the comments. So that's what we're here for. We want to help you learn and become better and be able to price your work where you need to. I'm in lawn and landscape newbies group. A lot of people in there, they get it. They don't know what to charge. They start off lawn mowing and they get into landscaping. They don't know what to charge. But don't post a picture and say, how much should I charge for this? Please, please, please share more information on this so we can help you out, give you a better idea of what you need to charge. There's one person in the Facebook group, the Landscape Business Owners Facebook group. When somebody says that, they always post $1 million. It's kind of funny now to me at this point, because I get it. And they're not trying to be snarky. It's hard for us to say this because we don't know what you pay for materials, what you pay for equipment, all these things. So you have to dial in, understand your numbers. Guys, that's the only way you'll ever be able to grow, be able to scale your business, is you have to dial in your numbers. You have to understand what you need to charge. Otherwise, you're just rolling the dice and hoping you're going to come out ahead. This is, again, one of those cycles we see. You win some, you lose some. No, we should be winning pretty much every single job. We're not winning every single job, then something's going on. Something is wrong. So, talking to Cycle CPA, Carla from Cycle CPA, the industry standard right now is 4% net profit. I've heard different ranges. I've heard 2-4% net profit. And that is terrible, guys. With that measly amount of profit that a lot of landscape companies are making, they're never getting ahead. They're never going to grow. And we see all these landscapers out with the new trucks and doing all this great stuff. You're never going to be able to get to that point, or you're just going to struggle over and over if you're not pricing your work where you need to be. So guys, I can't stress it enough. Spend the time, learn your numbers, reach out to me, reach out to AJ here, and reach out to these people that have been doing it for a while and find out how you can get better and what you can do to get better. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat. I'm going to go hang out with the family. If there's no other questions, I'm doing last check here, but I appreciate you guys hopping in here on a Sunday night. Again, we're going to continue doing these things here and help you guys out. So, all right, doesn't see any other questions. So again, guys, I appreciate you guys hopping in here. Hope you have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.